the next episode of Black Table Talks. And I'm here with my dude, my guy, my brother from Philly, Greg Parker.
Thanks, bro. Thanks for having me here.
All right. Blessing us today. So we're here. It's funny because we talked. One of the other things that I'm working on is a show called True American Hustlers, which you're definitely going to be a part of that. You're on the at the top of the list for that. But we're going to save the whole life story for that, right? Because today we're here with the Black Table Talks to talk to people about dropping them jewels on how they can take part in building wealth for their families, like the same path that we're on. You know, we talk about it all the time, and that's what the Black Table Talks is about for me. I want to just try to dispense as much information as possible to make it convenient for people to tap into. I'm sure every time I post something, I get a request for people to be a mentor.
Exactly.
Right? You can't be a mentor to everybody. That's not realistic, right? So I was trying to figure out a way, how can we just get as much information out to people, you know, at their convenience and our convenience, right? And I know you get way more requests for mentorship and people just want to run ideas past you and concepts. So this is a way that we can do that. So today I brought you here where we can talk real estate, we can talk business, we can talk building wealth for our families, because I know we both on that same path. So introduce yourself, brother, like you need an introduction.
No. For those that don't know me, I'm Greg Park. I'm from Philadelphia. I'm here now. I'm really like a Cleveland native right now.
Yeah, I see you got your Browns on.
You know what I mean? I'm like a Cleveland native, but from Philadelphia investor. Came out here 2 years ago. Linked up with a good brother. He told me not to go where I am. He convinced me not to go where I am, but I was on a mission at the time, you know what I mean? And I saw something that I had experienced in my city, and I just wanted to pour into it. I didn't know it was going to be as hard as it has been for me, but I came here to Cleveland and just to kind of sort of come into certain areas that have been dissipated, dilapidated for so many years, and I wanted to start there. We two different kind of investors, you know, bro go after stuff, and he making his mark in the community, and it's crazy because he's making his mark in the community where he needs to be, and I'm making my mark in the community where I need to be, and together it bridged a crazy gap. So I'm an investor out of Philadelphia, and I came here to Cleveland to kind of sort of share some education and some things that I had experienced, so that other people could kind of sort of get ahead and learn things that guys like us weren't taught. We had to kind of learn the hard way. Yeah.
So just to talk a little bit about how we first met. You know, people know that I used to, up until last year, owned a restaurant, Zanzibar, downtown. And, you know, I really wasn't that active on social media. I jump on and jump off, you know, before I met Greg. And one of my realtor, Harvey Lewis, had reached out to me and said, man, do you know this guy? You know, y'all connected? You know, he pumping your restaurant up every time he comes to town in Zanzibar downtown. I'm like, what?
He like fried chicken.
He like, man, dude flying in on a private jet doing real estate in Cleveland. I'm like, what? Black dude? He like, yeah, he a brother. I'm like, let me know the next time he posts. And just so happened, I was at the car wash on 40th and Carnegie, and he reached out, man. Homeboy down there right now, just spot. I'm like, man, I'm about to shoot down there. And when I got pulled up, you know, he was there with a group of people, individuals, and they was, you know, talking real estate. He had just flew in. And again, like always, he was pumping Zanzibar up. So we went in, we met, we connected. And at that time, you had probably already had 20, 30 houses at that point, you know, and that was 2 years ago. So for those that don't know, like, you know, I can verify that in Cleveland, you've bought 250, 300 plus?
Probably, we over 500 now.
Okay, so the last time that we talked, and that was probably almost a year ago, about how many you was at 300 plus. So it was crazy. So I used to tell people your story, guys that was here in Cleveland, men and women, try to get the information out. Like, listen, don't be mad at what he's doing. Don't just keep watching what he's doing. Follow what he's doing. Get involved. We're here in Cleveland. He's come from another city, coming to our city because he sees the numbers. He understands the math.
Right.
Because that's all about. He ain't come here because he loved Cleveland. He came here because it's an opportunity to build and to reinvest in the community, but also make money. That's the reality, right? So I was telling people, if you just see the streets that he go on and he buy 2, 3 properties, you buy one.
Buy one.
Right? If you just buy one, you're going to benefit from his comps.
Exactly.
When he changed the value of those properties.
They couldn't see the value changing.
And exactly. So that's what I was telling people, and we had talked over the years, but like you said, the great thing about real estate is 1,000 ways to make money in real estate. 1,000, literally. People are always trying to follow what somebody else does, but you have to figure out what's good for you.
Your lane.
And work that lane. So even though we connected, we really wasn't doing the same thing. We did a different investment strategy, but we connected on we did some deals together, so many I can't even name, but it really wasn't my normal thing. Just because I had an opportunity to do it, we did it.
Exactly.
And you had an opportunity to do business with me, you did. But I was telling people they need to invest, because when guys come from, and this, guys, it's not like that in Philly, like a LA or San Francisco or New York. That literally real estate is going for $400 or $500 a square foot.
Right. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. But you know what's sad though? It's starting to get there in Philly, and it will get there in Cleveland. And the sad part about it is, when you're in something, you can't see it.
Yeah, of course.
When I was in, people ask me all the time, like, yo, what's wrong with them dudes in Cleveland? What's wrong with them? This is what they ask me. And I say the same thing was wrong with us in Philly. We didn't know.
Yeah, of course.
We thought the money was outside of the building.
Yeah, of course.
On the steps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the money was actually inside of the building.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And it took for the community to be re-gentrified. And a lot of times, we just roll with the punches. And guys like us decided not to roll with the punches, but to bob and weave and put the jab out. Because it's like, hey, we need to start fighting back. We need to start, what can we do so that we don't get left behind? I don't want to come to my neighborhood and be able to take my kids there and say, I used to live here, I used to live there. This neighborhood used to be this, it used to be that. Because that's what we had to go through.
Right.
When I pull up in my old neighborhood, no matter if it's $500,000 or $2 million, I could turn the key on one of them joints.
Yeah, of course.
You understand what I'm saying? When I encourage people, it's crazy, bro, because it's a lot of, there's different towns that I went to, and like you said, people be upset because they see you come in. I just experienced this in Baltimore.
Yeah.
And shout out the Charm City Builders, one of the good little group of people. It's a man and it's a husband and wife, I think, husband and wife couple. And when I came to Baltimore, they was doing their thing, and I think she had got a little offended because of the juice that I was bringing. You know what I mean? And we had a long talk, and I'm like, you got to understand that I'm a small fry. You a small fish in a big pond.
Yeah, of course.
Like when the powers that be come through here and buy it up, there's nothing you can do or you can say.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like, don't look at me as a enemy or adversity you got to face. Like, I'm an ally.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And we had a long, great talk. You know what I mean? And she didn't know what was going on. Felt like I was kind of intruding on their territory.
Yeah.
But I really wasn't. I'm not like that. People that don't know me don't know.
But it's never that situation.
Nah.
It's never. That's thinking this small way.
That's the small way.
You got to think of the picture a lot larger.
Yeah.
That's what I was telling people. When you came into the city, it was a benefit.
Yeah.
Because you're doing something I couldn't do on my own.
Right.
I didn't have the momentum. I wasn't even considering doing the things that you were doing. Right. Nobody else that I knew in real estate was doing it on that level, and they didn't have the vision to do that. To rebuild a community up on that level.
Exactly.
Because I'm a small fry. Doing what I do, and people look at me like it's major. It is major depending on how you visualize it. But I was just reading an article in Scene Magazine this week. One of the largest developers here in Cleveland literally did $1 billion deal in the flats downtown. And they gave him they abate a tax abatement for 70 years.
For
70 years.
Ain't got nothing to worry
and he invested, he probably only invested a couple $100 million, but a couple $100 million, that ain't even what we do. So that's a whole different level of the game, and his vision is bigger. So you can't be mad at that. You just got to figure out how you can fit in.
Right, and that's what I said. So we had to talk, and I was basically telling her, I'm coming to help. I'm here. You know what I mean? I got the momentum. Like, I sit back and I watch guys in different city, and they can't do it. They try, but it's like, you got to understand, and I said this to numerous people, like you said, we not doing the same things. Like, people don't understand that they're in an area where it's up and coming, it's already flowing, the comps are there. They're trying to build a portfolio for their family. I'm over here trying to rebuild a community. It's two different things. You know what I mean? Like it's two totally different. It's our job to do what we doing. It's Christmas time. It's our job to come out and make sure these children got toys and so forth and so on. We could be like the rest of these investors, flipping houses and say, hey, it's the fourth quarter, we're gonna kick our feet back. No, we work it all the way through because there are people in our communities that look up to us, just like you, just this right here, giving the information. There are people that's going to tune in and tap into this that need this information to be able to say, oh, okay, this is how I do that. This is how I do that. They don't know. We open books. This is a great thing you're doing because we can't service everybody.
Yeah,
like you said, like, it's so many people that used to be in my DMs that asking me questions, and our people feel like if we not responsive, they take it personal. So I started having classes. This is how my classes started.
Right.
You know what? I'm going to have a class. I have one class, it's 30, 40 people, I answer questions. Then the second class is 200 people. Next thing I know, it's 3,000 people in my class. You were there.
Yeah, of course.
There's 3,000 people in the class, and it's like a concert. You know what I mean? So, you know, when you got guys like us that are willing to share information, the last thing you want to do is look at us in a negative light. You know what I mean? You're going to hear negative stuff about everybody.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to have a bad experience with everybody. But for the most part, take what you can get from that person and apply it and keep it moving. You know, you got to have your own opinion, your own experience with somebody. I say that to people all the time. Like with us, like nobody, you know, everybody I meet is his brother. Or, yo, yeah, my man, when they start that, my man is such and such, I already know what they talking about. And the second they say him, this how I calm them down. FaceTime him. If they can't FaceTime him or call him, I'm like, you want me to call him? Because that's my man, you know what I mean? But it's a good thing. You know, so many people speak highly of you in this town, man. And by the grace of God, man, that the stars lined up, that like how we met was just weird.
Yeah.
Like he hit me like, yo, you at Zanzibar? I'm like, yeah. And I'm with everybody. Like, yeah, come on down, meet me down here. He walks in, I'm thinking he's just a guy we meeting up. He like, yo, I'm the owner. And this is like my favorite restaurant. You know what I mean? And I never even thought I would meet the owner. That just was my spot. And then for you to be the owner and us to end up like brothers, and then other people from my city that he knew, that we all verified who each other was. And it was like, you know, I met a lot of people in my travels, and I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, like I never met a person like you that remind me so much of me. Like we give each other.
Right.
We don't hide nothing from each other. We're not trying to get over on each other. You always straightforward with me. Whatever you bring deals or whatever to the table, I'm always straightforward with you. Whatever we can do, we're not out trying to do each other. You invite me to your home, I invite you into my home. Like man, and I'm gonna be honest, I meet thousands and thousands of people, man. And I've never met a person like you. You know what I mean? That I just met. That I feel comfortable with. That I can just I can lean on you for real. For a lot of times, you don't even know. When I'm spilling stuff, I'm kind of leaning on you, and I take everything that you say to heart, and I try to apply it because I know the way you are. You a stickler for things. You know what I mean? And you accurate on what you do. You make super calculated moves, but sometimes I'm just running. You know what I mean? So sometimes I reference some of the stuff that you say, man. I did want to say I appreciate you as a brother, though. I wanted to say that to you.
Yeah. So I talked about, we're going to talk more about your history, your upbringing on True American Hustlers, right? But just because we're talking about real estate and investments and business, let's talk just a little bit about how you even got started on the real estate path. Because everybody trying to start. They trying to figure out how to start and, you know, where who to start with and what process and which of the 1,000 ways to make money in real estate. So what was your first transaction? Tell us
My first real estate transaction was more or less like a wholesale deal. But, you know, we didn't have a name.
Yeah, it wasn't wholesale.
No, we was just like new. Buying some. So this is what separates us from guys that are doing wholesaling. In our era, I had to track down the owner, knock on the door, have a bag of money, have the deed, have my wife at the time who was a notary, and I was willing to accept all the debt. Remember, we used to buy properties with debt on them. Of course. It wasn't title insurance and all that, so we would buy properties with debt on them. So this is how I started off. I actually bought a piece of property for about $5,000.
But what made you buy that property? What? I mean, you just woke up one day.
I'm gonna tell you what made me buy a property.
Okay.
Well, the same thing that made us all buy properties. Old heads used to say, "Y'all better do something with that money."
Oh, so that was the reason.
Yeah. That
was it. Was in your ear telling you to buy some.
Older guys that came before me that had money and was in the streets. You know, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm 3 generations hustler. You know what I mean? My grandparents hustled. My parents hustled, and then I hustled. Right. And just truth be told, as I was hustling, I'm a big person on watching other people's mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Like I never smoke weed, you know what I mean, and all that, because just certain stuff I seen other people go through, I just didn't do things. So I learned from other people's mistakes, and truth be told, like all the old agents say, buy something, and I had bought something even though I was still in the streets. I had bought a piece of property, $5,000, let it sit there. Then I would try to fix it and fix the little plumbing and stuff. I didn't know what I was doing at the time. And then a realtor came
What year
along.
was that? Give us an idea.
Dang,
You remember?
what year was that? 01, 05? What's this? No, I'm longer than 15 years in the game. It's 20. I'm 18. I'm going on 18 years. I've been doing this since I was 27. I'm 45. So this year to be almost 19 years. That was about 01, 02, right? Maybe like 02, something like that.
Okay.
02, because I got videos from like 03, 04, and old videos on YouTube.
All right.
So, I'm gonna tell you about that too. So, make a long story short, probably about 02. Let's call it 02, one and 03.
All right.
And I never forget, I had met this realtor, man, and he was new to the neighborhood, new to the community, but he kind of knew. You know what I mean? He knew. And I was his first client, his first real client. And he said, I kept saying, man, listen, I want to sell this house. He said, how much? I said, I want 103 for it. He's like, you're not going to get 100. I put it at 103.
Okay.
So, put it at 103. He put a sign up. I said, take the sign down. He took the sign down. I said, listen on the MLS. 2 weeks, I got a potential buyer, 75,000.
Okay. You sold it for 75.
I took it.
All right. How much did you have in it total?
About $8 grand.
Okay. How long did you keep it?
Well, I had it for years. I didn't know what to do.
Oh, okay.
I had it for about 3 years, 4 years before I sold it.
Okay.
So he comes to me and I'm trying to fix all kind of things. I don't know what I'm doing. And then one day he just says, why don't you sell it as is? I said, as is? He said, yeah. I said, I can sell this property. Like he said, yeah, just list it as is. And they wanted a credit, give them a couple bucks back.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's do it. List it for 103. Put the sign up. All my neighbors, you're selling the house. You're going to get 100,000. You're not going to get 100,000.
Right.
I said, man, take the sign down. But he kept it on the MLS. Sold a house. I got a bite in a week.
Okay.
I sold it for $75,000. Right.
All right.
I bought every house I could in my neighborhood. For
So when you got that check, your mindset was, because I got a
it was over.
My story was very
it was
similar.
over. When I got that check,
Right.
I said to myself,
yeah, the streets
why
is
would I
over,
risk
right.
my life another day? It's
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
Like it was over. Like
yeah.
it was literally over. Like when I seen that check, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I turned 5,000 to 75,000, and I ain't had to do nothing for it. Even though we know it's work now, but it seemed like it wasn't worth compared to the last job. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
So I said, I'll never forget, bro. I took that check, and nobody knew I sold the house because I took the sign down.
Yeah.
I bought every house I could in my community. 6,000, 7,000, 5,000, 8,000.
Yeah.
And I was posting, man. Before I knew it, when I was 28 years old, I was making $150,000 a month.
Yeah.
Just flipping houses, right? Then at my, of course, I balled that money out of control.
Yeah.
Spinning it up.
Right.
And then the market tanked. So when you in a legitimate business, you think there's no drought. You think that, I'm legit now. This money's going to
come. So that was
forever.
like 2008, 2009.
2008, 2008, the market tanked, bro.
But you had a good run for like 6, 7 years.
It took me 2 years to go broke.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
It took me 2 years to go. The banks weren't lending. It was craziness. And in 2 years, I remember, I thought I was broke. So let me tell you how I learned the value of an asset.
Yeah.
And equity. So I had bought all these houses for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. The banks wasn't lending. I couldn't flip no more, so I thought I was broke. And I never forget, man, I was in the bathroom one day, and I was in the mirror, and I was like, you started with nothing. That's what I said to myself. I'm like, you started with nothing. So even though I took the hits I took, I had more than where I started at. And I started getting these letters. Same letters y'all getting right now for y'all abandoned homes. I started getting these letters, so our ignorance.
Yeah.
Throwing it out. And I never forget, listen, let me call this guy one day. And the guy was like,